My name is Narcissia Netal. I live on 16 South Street, and I had written something today that I would like to speak and say. Standing here today is a stance of hope and optimism with the caution that it may not be fulfilled today, but I pray my doubt will be proved wrong. The city, the community, and the council today will witness an important part of Lockportian, Niagaran, and Western New York history regarding our friend, poor old Bewley, the Bewley building. Through my time both in and out of Common Council meetings, I have witnessed a constant delay on this project. Our developers, Lockportians themselves, if I am correct, have stood here in a confused silence, a rather pathetic silence brought forth by the incapability to make progress due to petty stalling that has prevented a project that could rapidly improve lives, save lives, and renew the Bewley building. In one article I had seen, the stalling originally took place due to the historic value of the Bewley building. To this, I ask you to think of what the historic value is. I walked into the Bewley building to film a music video for advocacy of the Pathstone project and the humanitarian solution positioned in front of us. In that filming, what I would find and what I found connotated a history I think nobody here would be proud of. One that could be described as vacancy, abandonment, rotten memories gone. Far gone. To put it simple, the Bewley building isn't getting prettier. Lockport isn't getting cheaper. The historic value to me is confusing because if we see this as history value, then I have to question the ethics of every member of city government, stretching to our county and state, and more so than I do every day as an exercise of constant reflection. Additionally, I am led to call this an act of political violence. I will define what political violence is. In my eyes, political violence is a violence of many forms, and one is in policy or lack of it. And the constant stalling, the halting, the fight against Pathstone, and this supporting, even if confusing, project is political violence, supporting against it, by the way, is political violence against the community. It is political violence against the disadvantaged. Political violence against our homeless population, many of which I know, so on and so forth. And this reality, my observations, and the actions taken up to this point have reinforced a cycle of political violence that members of our Lockportian government have not only been complicit in, but enabled.
You have 30 seconds.
It is shameful and downright disgusting. It is pathetic. To vote yes to this rezoning would end a cycle of political violence that we have been complicit in. And for that reason, it is only common sense that we vote yes, because it would better Lockport, it would renew the Bewley building, and bring something that I could actually call historic and history I would be proud of, to call myself a Lockportian. Thank you. I'm going to skip that part. I'm also not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for some community members that I had talked to about a recent, rather tragedy, I'm going to call it, in Lockport. And that being the suicide on the train trestle. I have been talked to by many of the homeless population. I've even been in nonprofit discussions, and I've been in even citizens asking me if I knew who jumped. And I know it was reported on, but I feel that this is important, that we should be being more transparent with these things, and we need to start having a conversation about that. I have personally lost people to suicide. I've lost 2 partners to suicide within my 19 years. I attempted suicide at 14 years old, 2020. I can still tell you what that hospital room looks like. I can still tell you what that 2-day coma felt like waking up in that hospital bed. This is an important conversation that cannot be delayed anymore. How many people have jumped off those bridges? Train trestle, canal bridges. Hell, back in January and February, I had one of my darkest bouts of depression ever. I felt pointless, nihilistic. I was going through some of the darkest moments of my life during winter. I didn't tell anyone. I was smiley, happy. You see every picture of me. I'm holding up my books with pride, but I went to those bridges. I looked over that water. I looked in that water. I'm better now. I got my help. I got my treatment. I got my support. But that's a struggle that many Lockportians are going through. And as I talk on many issues regarding Bewley building, I notice that even I have lacked to talk on mental health. We have another suicide off a bridge in Lockport. We need transparency, we need conversations, we need solutions. Not a want, I'm not requesting. We need that because it could save lives, it could improve quality, and it can improve the community. And I ask that the council take that into consideration and be transparent with its citizens, no matter what class designation, no matter if they're housed or not, about what goes on in the city so we can properly grieve as a community, properly mourn as a community, and properly come up with solutions as a community to these epidemics and to these crises. Thank you.
Thanks.